She would like to know why we did not deal with the previous Khulafa in our Jamaat.
About what?
The previous Khulafa in our Jamaat. And also what was the name of Jamaat previously, because only recently we came to know about the Ahmadiyya. Previously we used to hear about Qadiani and others.
First of all, the first three caliphs which she has asked about, the first Khalifa of Hazrat Muhammad Muslim Islam was Khalifatul Masih Awwal Hazrat Hakim al-Haj Nuruddin. His name was Nuruddin because he had done Hajj, and in those days whoever had performed Hajj, he would be called al-Hajj. And he was also Hafiz al-Quran. And he was one of the greatest ulama of his time in India. Before he became Ahmadi, his fame had spread far and wide in India as a very great, profound scholar. So much so that when Hazrat Masih Maud addressed the ulama and spoke in Arabic and wrote in Arabic, and every great alim of the country was covered by him. He was deeply influenced, and deep inside they trembled to face him. And you know what they said? They said, it is Hakim Nuruddin who's sitting behind and who is teaching him everything. And Hakim Nuruddin could never dream of do such a thing. He sat before him like a small child. So that was Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Awwal, Hazrat Hakim Haji Nuruddin. He had no family relationship with Hazrat Masih Maud Islam. And because of his piety and his great knowledge, he was elected the first caliph in Jamaat Ahmadiyya. After him, or before he died, there was a conspiracy against Khilafat. Conspiracy which was hatched among the elders, some elders of the Jamaat, who made the Sadr Anjuman Ahmadiyya of that time. These Anjuman elders were afraid, and they were right in that fear, that the second head would be chosen to be my late father, Hazrat Mirza Bashruddin Mahmud Ahmad. Because he was coming up, he was unfolding like a great man in a small age. So they suspected that this is a boy who is going to become the caliph, and they will all have to bend their heads to him. So the conspiracy was hatched, and bickering was going on everywhere. When Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, and they said, Khilafat is not what Hazrat Masih Maud Islam left behind. It has to be a collective leadership. Anjuman, we should rule. It was again Hazrat Khalifatul Masih who suspected what was happening. And he heard things about these things. Conspiracies were conveyed to him from here and there. He stood up one evening in Masjid Mubarak and addressed all these leaders and said, you are stupid if you think that you have made me caliph. You are Anjuman. But Allah bowed the head of the Anjuman to me, the caliph. And from now on you are nowhere, you are nothing. And you vowed at my hand that I will be the caliph and my order will be the order of the whole. So do what you may. Be careful about your faiths. But I declare you to be out of my bath and out of Jamaat if you do not do bath again with sincerity. The whole mosque was full of cries as if goats were being slaughtered. And everybody was crying and repeating, and then they had another bath. And within 1 year or two, after the bath, they forgot everything. So at the time of the death of Khalifa al-Masih, these elders, they did not do the bai'at of Khalifa al-Masih Sani, and they formed what is known to be a Lahori Jamaat. And they claimed that they had everything, all khazana, every leadership, all people followed them. And today, what has become of them? Just gone, disappeared. And it was this young boy who became the Caliph, whose Jamaat spread all over the world, and with the grace of Allah, it showed that Allah was with him. So that was the second Caliph, late Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad, who also happened to be my father, or I also happened to be his son. Then came, after his death, the third Caliph, who was my eldest brother. His name was Hazrat Hafiz Mirza Nasir Ahmad. He was also Hafiz al-Quran, and he was a highly educated person. He had done his tripos from Oxford University, and very great scholar of everything, in fact, everything which was necessary for him to lead the Jamaat. And he died in 1982. After his death, again, the Electoral College got together in Masjid Mubarak, and they elected me to be the fourth Caliph, despite the fact that I am the 8th in number of the children of Hazrat Muslim. So 8 were above me. That showed that Jamaat did not care for who was his son or who was not, who was elder or who was small. My eldest brother then, which was Hazrat Mirza Mubarak Ahmad Sahib, was the second after Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmad Sahib. He became the presiding officer of the Electoral College, and he held very important posts, much greater than I held at that time. But this shows that Jamaat is independent. It is not influenced by offices or blood relationship or anything. Under his chairmanship, I was elected by an overwhelming majority, and he got a few votes. And look at his greatness, that he immediately got down and extended his hand to me for bai'at. So this is how Khilafat Ahmadiyya continues with the grace of